Hey there guys, welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and I'm sure you've heard, or if you haven't heard, let me be the first to tell you that Twitter has disbanded its Trust and Safety Advisory Group. Now, I want to talk about this, however, I want to do it a different way. That way you guys know that I'm not biased. I pulled up two separate articles, one from the Associated Press and one from Fox News. Just so that you guys know, let's go to the Associated Press media bias from allsides.com to show that they do have a left lean. Obviously, we all know Fox has a right lean. So, I want to take a look at these two articles, side by side, and see if we can catch how it's reported differently, and if so, what this could mean, get folks' thoughts on it. So, let's start with the Associated Press. Musk's Twitter disbands its Trust and Safety Advisory Group. It's a good-looking photo of you there, Musk. I can just see you getting on Air Force One, so waving goodbye to your people. Too bad you're South African and will never be president. That's one thing. People want to just hate on this man for being a tech billionaire and Twitter and whatnot. It's kind of messed up, don't you think? You don't like seeing a South African man succeed? Anyway, let's take a look at this. Elon Musk's Twitter has dissolved its Trust and Safety Council, the advisory group of around 100 independent civil human rights and other organizations the company formed in 2016 to address hate speech, child exploitation, suicide, self-harm, and other problems on the platform. Well, I'm going to stop right here. Child exploitation. It is heavily known Twitter did almost nothing to stop that. In fact, Yoel Roth, one of the heads of Twitter, was questioned by the FBI, and they had bad child stuff stay up on Twitter. It was a haven for that. Now they addressed hate speech all the time. I mean, obviously there's only the speech that they consider hateful. It's like George Carlin's 7 words you can't say. Only this time it's like 87 words, and half of them are made the fuck up by one particular side. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, this whole child exploitation bit, it's crap. The council had been scheduled to meet with Twitter representatives Monday night, but Twitter informed the group via email that it was disbanding it shortly before the meeting was to take place, according to multiple members. The council members who provided images of email from Twitter to the Associated Press spoke on the condition of anonymity due to fears of retaliation. The email said Twitter was re-evaluating how to best bring external insights, and the council is not the best structure to do this. I mean, I don't work at Twitter, so I can't pretend to know how that council conducted its sort of business. But I will say that, yeah, maybe it wasn't. It probably wasn't, because, I mean, I've already told the story. I was banned for talking shit on Disney Star Wars. Who did that put in harm's way? So, no, I don't really have faith in their Trust and Safety Council, especially not with the widely available public knowledge of not good things happening to children on Twitter. And then being told when those children came forth talking about how, hey, this is a photo of me when I was younger doing these, I don't want this. Or when their families came forth, Twitter saying, no, doesn't break terms of service. Because there is not nudity and pornography is actually allowed on Twitter. It doesn't break terms of service. Now, that stuff absolutely does break terms of service, but Twitter didn't do anything about it. Maybe they could claim it's hard to prove that they were children, if you're 17 and look of age, something like that. But still, it's frightening. Our work to make Twitter a safe, informative place will be moving faster and more aggressively than ever before, and will continue to welcome your ideas going forward about how to achieve this goal, said the email, which was signed Twitter. The volunteer group provided expertise and guidance on how Twitter could better combat hate, harassment, and other harms, but didn't have any decision-making authority and didn't review specific content disputes. Shortly after buying Twitter for $44 billion in late October, Musk said he would form a new Content Moderation Council to make major decisions, but later changed his mind. Twitter's Trust and Safety Council was a group of volunteers who over many years gave up their time when consulted by Twitter staff to offer advice on a wide range of online harms and safety issues. Twitter Council member Alex Holmes at no point was a governing body or decision-making. Okay, if at no point was it a governing body or decision making, then why did it exist? I mean, I get that it's called a council. Council usually just means advisory, but the whole point of giving advice is to lead to decisions. And if they're volunteers and not being paid for it, I don't want them doing it anyway. You're not entitled to folks' labor. Folks should be getting paid for a job like this. Now, if you're getting paid for a job like this, it should absolutely be, fairly done across the board and should follow TOS. But the point is, yeah, if these are volunteers from other outlets and other mediums just putting in their 2 cents, I'm sorry, those other outlets could have agendas and be it the left or the right about things they want censored or don't want censored, about what is and isn't safe, because that's of course subjective. So yeah, I don't buy that at all. Twitter, which is based in San Francisco, had confirmed the meeting with the council Thursday in an email in which it promised an open conversation and Q&A with Twitter staff, including the new head of Trust and Safety, Ella Irwin. That came on the same day that 3 council members announced they were resigning in a public statement posted on Twitter that said, contrary to claims by Elon Musk, the safety and well-being of Twitter's users are on the decline. Then don't just say it. Give us numbers to show it. Give us something to back that statement up, because I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe folks who have vested interests in a company that has already been caught doing really shady shit. Give us the numbers to back it up, or don't say it. Those former council members soon became the target of online attacks after Musk amplified criticism of them and Twitter's past leadership for allegedly not doing enough to stop child sexual exploitation on the platform. Yes, exactly. Not enough was done. Look into Yoel Roth. It's a pretty interesting little can of worms. It's a crime that they refused to take action on child exploitation for years, Musk tweeted. A growing number of attacks on the council led to concerns from some remaining members who sent an email to Twitter earlier on Monday demanding the company stop misrepresenting the council's role. Those false accusations by Twitter leaders were endangering current and former council members, the email said. No, okay, I guess maybe being transparent can put individuals in danger, but that's the risk that comes with freedom. You had the freedom to be on this council. There was risk in being on this council, and though it's just like the saying goes: those who would sacrifice freedom for safety deserve neither. Obviously, that's an abridged version, but you get the point. So, if these individuals were being put at risk by having this information put out there, that's part of the way the game is played. That's a fact, and you don't get to sit there and complain about it now that your side is the one who's on the defensive instead of on the attack. The Trust and Safety Council, in fact, had as one of its advisory groups one that focused on child exploitation. This included the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Roddy Foundation, and YARKIN, or Youth Adult Survivors and Kin in Need. Well, then they were doing a shit job. Former Twitter employee Patricia Karts, whose job it was to form the council in 2016, said Monday whose job it was. So her job, she got paid to form a council of volunteers. Is that normal? I mean, that could be normal, but I'm going to pay you to form a council of unpaid people to give us opinions on what should and shouldn't be censored. That seems abnormal to me. Anyway. Former Twitter employee Patricia Karts, whose job it was to form the council in 2016, said Monday its dissolution means there's no more checks and balances. Karts said the company sought to bring a global outlook to the council, with experts from around the world who could relay concerns about how new Twitter policies or products might affect their communities. She contrasted that with Musk's current practice of surveying his Twitter followers before making a policy change affecting how content gets moderated. He doesn't really care as much about what experts think, she said. Again, does he not care about what experts think? Because from the Twitter files and all the leaks, it looks like all these experts had agendas and had things that they were willing to kind of gloss over and cover up for their own vested interests. So I bet Elon does care what people think as long as they are trustworthy people, which very few at Twitter have shown to be. Okay, so that's the end of that. That is how the Associated Press, the left-leaning article, covered this statement. Now, let's hop over to Fox News, which we all know, right-leaning, and see how they cover it. It could be the same, it could be different. I just think it will be interesting to see if and where the bias lies. Twitter, under the leadership of Elon Musk, dissolved an outside advisory council minutes before a scheduled meeting, according to reports. The Trust and Safety Council, comprised by nearly 100 independent civil, human rights, and other organizations, the company formed in 2016 to address hate speech, child exploitation, suicide, self-harm, and other problems on the platform. That is almost word for word what the previous one said. So good. Usually, when you have two opinions of the differing sides, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So far, we've seen truth from both sides, so we're probably seeing some truth. Ahead of a scheduled meeting with Twitter representatives Monday night, Twitter informed the group via email that it was disbanding it shortly before the meeting was to take place, according to multiple members. Our work to make Twitter a safe, informative place will be moving faster and more aggressively than ever before, and we will continue to welcome your ideas going forward and about how to achieve this goal, said an email that provided the Associated Press. It was, oh, okay, so they're literally referencing the Associated Press article that we just went over. That's good. That's journalistic integrity. That is one, journalistic, as one source of media doing their research and putting, like they said before, checks and balances in on another. There's no false reporting so far. Also doesn't give as much detail, which, it should also be, part of the blame. But by the same token, if they're already going to reference the AP article, giving more detail would literally just be copying stuff from the AP article. So, you don't want to plagiarize. A page on Twitter's website, now removed, said the council is made up of several advisory groups, each dedicated to issues critical to the health of the public conversation. Was that in this one? I don't remember. Let's see. It didn't say, I don't remember it saying anything about the public conversation in this. Let's see. No, so far, no, it did not. So this article, the AP article, does not mention the public conversation at all. But as we've talked about before, Twitter is the public square. They are, where all the discourse happens nowadays, because the internet is, love it or hate it, how we live our lives. So, I do like how this is written. Is it inferred in the AP article? Yes it is, but you should have the news blatant, in my opinion, because you want as many people, as smart or dumb, to understand it as possible. Membership is voluntary and don't imply endorsement of any decisions we make, the page read. Members also don't speak on Twitter's behalf. Once again, the previous article said that, or at least something akin to that, and I will, just like I did with the previous article, question in this one, why? Why are you voluntarily talking about health and concern and safety on things that are subjective? There are some objectively true things, like, hey, kiddie porn bad, fucking ban it. Guess what Twitter didn't do? So, what good was this, council of volunteers? Twitter did not respond to Fox Business requests for comment. So, even being ran by Elon Musk, who people want to claim as a conservative, even though he seems like a left-leaning libertarian to me, didn't speak to Fox, a known right-wing outlet, about this. I personally think that's pretty telling. So, yeah, I just thought that'd be an interesting little exercise. It seems like the left-wing media outlet did definitely go more in-depth and more detail. And they're also the ones that the story was broke to, so that makes sense. I find it fascinating. I'm happy the stories do align. It's good to know that there was no, at least that I noticed, notable bias one way or the other. I mean, there's a little bit in the AP article where it talks about, shortly after buying Twitter for $44 billion in late October, like, that detail seems like it's just there to buzz folks. We all know when it was bought. We all know it was by Elon. We all know for how much. It's almost like a sly way of being like, ooh, rich man bad. But maybe I'm just reading into it too much because of my own bias. That's entirely possible. I will not, disagree that I have a bias myself. I'm a, frankly, like I've said in previous videos, my bias is I hate both sides, and I'm all for the individual. So, but yeah, that's really about it. I mean, this article seems to go real soft on the council themselves and talk about, the volunteers and what they did, and kind of almost make it sob story-ish and like, oh, this is a bad thing. Whereas the Fox articles seem to just be, reporting on the outcome itself, or not even on the outcome, but on the decision itself, because we haven't really seen the outcome yet. But yeah, that's about it. By all means, please follow me on Twitter at BoltTheWord. like, comment, subscribe. This Twitter stuff's probably going to be happening for a while. I mean, I've got another video coming up about the Twitter Files Part 5, in case anyone isn't caught up. And then, after that, we'll probably do something lighthearted. There's another anime rap reaction that I want to do, because it's got a lot of cool rappers on it, cool folk that I want to introduce you to. So until then, this has been Words of Paradise.